What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Juice and Toya podcast, brought to you by One Body Los Angeles. I am your co-host, Juice.
And I am Toya. Welcome to episode number 8 of the Juice and Toya podcast.
Welcome back.
Today's episode is all about follow-along workouts versus circuit training.
Yes, this is something, not necessarily a topic that people have requested, but we figured it'd be a very important topic to discuss because a lot of people ask us all the times, how are your workouts? What are the workouts that you do? So we just kind of want to, kind of open the scope a little bit and really distinguish what's the difference between the two, what are the pros and cons, and kind of take you through that. So
yes, and also because our app is primarily circuit style training, most of our programs lately have been circuit style training, and I think because most of our subscribers on YouTube, a lot of you are obviously there for the workout. So when you come to the app, it's pretty different. So we want to explain the difference, like he said.
Oh, yeah.
But first, let's get into some housekeeping.
Yeah. So real quick, if you didn't know, we dropped a 8-week program. Level Up 2.0 is out right now. We have people already hitting the ground running with it. It's an 8-week program, strength and conditioning focus. We have exclusive follow-alongs within this. We have circuit style training and a mixture of circuit style training and follow-along within this program. We also have a nutrition guide as well as 10 plus recipes within that as well. So that program is $45. If you want to purchase it just to have for life, you can do that. But you can also subscribe to the Juice and Toya app. First week free to check it out. But you'll have access to that on the app as well if you want to do a subscription base. So if you've done our Level Up 1 program, you know what to expect from this one. We made it a little bit bigger and better, and we hoped that everyone would get the most out of it.
Yeah, and just to be clear, you do not need an app subscription.
No.
If you purchase it, you will go to the exclusives tab to access it. So you'll still download the app, but you do not need a subscription.
Correct.
And then next up, also make sure you check out our new merch that we have available on our website, onebodyla.com/shop. We have restocked on some new pieces, so if you've checked before and your size was out, recheck. We restocked and also added in those new fall colors.
So shout out Lululemon, the greatest clothes in the world. Appreciate y'all. All right, so let's roll into it. We don't waste time here on the Juice and Toy podcast. We like to get right into it. So again, this podcast is all about understanding the importance and purpose of follow along workouts, what they can do for you and your body versus circuit style training. We're just going to help you distinguish the difference between the two, and then hopefully by the end of this episode you can kind of explore, all right, what works best for me. Because one thing we get, again, we probably preach this every episode, whatever is going to keep you consistent is the best for you. We don't want to we don't want you to think like, oh, circuit style training is better than follow along is better than circuit style. We're just giving you, again, the pros and cons of each, and then you can kind of make the decision as to what works best for you. And another thing we'll get into, I'm like so excited to get into another thing we'll get into is like you can do both. Right? You don't have to limit yourself to just doing one. We just want to give you the benefits and then make you help you make the decision for yourself.
Yeah, there are things that are better for specific goals. Like circuit style training might be better for a specific goal, whereas follow along workouts might be better for a different goal. So depending on what your goal is, your lifestyle, and just you personally, you can decide what works best. So let's start by getting into the pros of follow along. So, what follow along workouts are. So let's start at follow along workouts. Talk about what it is, who it's for, why we do it, and get into the pros and cons.
For sure. So to get into follow alongs, we started our YouTube channel in the summer of 2019. And we didn't post a follow along workout honestly until COVID started, which was about
March 2020. It was like when we posted our first one.
It was like March or April. And our channel wasn't, if you listen to our first episode, our channel wasn't originally built on follow along workouts. We were just trying to give general tips about exercise, fitness in general, whether you were at the gym or at home. We were just trying to be a resource and give the information that we had at the time. So obviously,
and have longer form content, because at the time, Instagram videos were 15 seconds.
And we couldn't do nothing with that. So eventually we moved forward. This was actually Toya's idea. I didn't want to do honestly follow along workouts at first. I was just like, I don't know if people are doing those, but then, understanding the situation, we have no gyms. So, we understood that like, okay, people need.
At the beginning, he didn't want to do it because it was like, you got to remember, we're traveling to and from gyms all day long.
Yeah.
The way we trained our clients was not follow along style,
sure.
So it didn't make sense at the time for us to.
And we thought it would be like everybody. We thought COVID would be a couple month thing. We'll be back in the gyms, but times changed, and we had to kind of change with it. So with that, people didn't have gyms. We didn't have a gym. We didn't have any equipment. So we had to find a way to keep people in shape, which originally was our clients. We were sending these videos to our clients to do, and then we're like, let's just post it on YouTube, see if anybody else could benefit from it. So that's the origin story of why or how we started creating these follow along workouts, and we'll get into the pros of why. Which, number one, it's very accessible, right? You can literally go on YouTube, type in Juice and Toya 20-minute dumbbell workout, and you have a workout at your fingertips, right? It's very accessible. It's easy to get to. You don't have to get out the car or get into your car, drive to the gym. You don't, it's right there for you, right? You could show up to your living room or even bedroom, roll out of bed and work out. Very accessible. So that's just a simple pro of just having these follow along workouts.
Yeah. And like he said too, at the time, a lot of people could not get to gyms. And depending on where you are in the world, LA, we were locked down. I mean, we couldn't go to the beach. There were, there's so much that you couldn't do, where a lot of people were like, just go outside and do stuff. Some people did not have that ability as well. So, we also created them at that time. It was for also motivation. If you're not able to if you weren't around other people, you couldn't get to a gym, you're working out by yourself, And so when you're doing a follow along, you're watching someone, it almost feels more fun and motivating because you feel like you're doing it with them. Most of the time, if you're doing a follow along workout, there's also music playing. Sometimes they're talking to you. We personally don't talk in the workouts, but it just is a little bit more motivating versus having to just like put yourself through a workout sometimes.
And you don't have to think about it. Like you just literally show up and it's guided for you and you just do the work. So that's just a quick pro. Another thing that a lot of people benefit from, especially our workouts, we like to do anywhere between, we have 10-minute workouts, 20, 30. Follow along workouts allow you to stay within your time restrictions. So if you only have 30 minutes to work out, if you put on a 30-minute video, it's going to take 30 minutes, right? So it's kind of keeps you into a structure of time to where you can get in, get out, and know that you can get your work in within that certain period of time. So that's just a benefit of just having that structure within a follow along video.
And then another pro, piggybacking off the accessibility, it eliminates excuses because if you have dumbbells, wonderful, but if you don't, plenty of body weight to follow along to, right? And whenever we were training in person, it was like no parking, traffic. My kid has to be home. Like there's so many things that can come up that can keep you from getting to the gym. And it used to be, if you can't make it to the gym, you don't work out. There was no working out at home, So now it kind of eliminates that, where you're like, I can't make it to the gym, but it would have taken me 30 minutes to drive there, which means I have 30 minutes. Let me go ahead and knock this out at home really quick, So it kind of eliminates some of the excuses of not moving your body at all.
Yeah, and honestly, with our client, I'm sure they hate it too. Like, like you didn't do anything today.
Here's the video you could have done.
We stress this enough. Something is always better than nothing, even if it's just. That's why we create 10-minute workouts sometimes, because, there are days where you're not feeling good, which is for us today. We're both, I don't know if you can hear it in our voice, we're both a little sick. But we want to do some type of movement today, whether it's just doing a light body weight strength workout or going on a walk. We always stress like doing something is always going to be better than nothing, right? So that's why we create these workouts in 10-minute, 20-minute increments, because you can you can give yourself that 20 minutes, right? Everybody has at least 10 to 20 minutes a day to get in some type of movement. So another pro of follow along workouts is it's not as intimidating, right? It's pretty inviting, right?
Yeah, when you click on the thumbnail and people are smiling at you.
Smiling at you, flexing our muscles. It's pretty inviting. You can just click a button and feel like you're, again, like she mentioned before, you want to feel like you're working out with us. You want to feel like you're a part of something, right? Sometimes, let's say you go into a gym, gyms aren't very inviting for people, right? You see 100 different people doing 100 different things, and
it can be intimidating.
It can be intimidating. You may not feel as confident, you know what I mean, not knowing what you're doing. You may go to the gym and not have any structure at all with what you're doing, and it could be intimidating, right? But clicking the video, having that motivation, having the music, having trainers who are working out with you, it just is inviting. It kind of gets you motivated and pumped up to really move your body. So those are just some general pros of follow along workouts. Like we realize that everyone works out a lot differently. People don't, we don't like to limit people to one style of training or way to train. Like we want to give people options, whether it's through equipment, certain types of equipment, or, whatever the case may be. We want to give people as many ways to move their body as possible, because again, like she just said, it eliminates those excuses. It keeps you consistent and keep you moving forward. So
and at the end of the day, consistently moving, as we said, is going to be the best thing. So those are some of the pros, and maybe you even resonated with some of those on why you follow our follow along workouts. Let's get into some cons. So things that may not be the most beneficial to do a follow along workout. So first of all, it's not going to be as stimulating. So more so specifically talking about our workouts, majority of them are no repeat. For timing purposes, filming purposes, keeping it fun, things like that.
Correct.
Most of them are no repeat. It's also easier to film. However, when you're not repeating, if you're doing a squat for 40 seconds and you're not repeating that squat, that's it, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not getting as much time under tension on certain muscle groups,
Correct.
which is important for building muscle, building strength.
Yes.
So it kind of eliminates that stimulus.
Yeah, and the reason we bring this up is because just think about it, right? If we do a no repeat workout where, let's say it's a 20-minute workout and we're doing 20 different exercises, and let's say we start off with squats. You're only going to do those squats one time, right? Let's say you get 10 reps within that 40-second period. Those are the only squats you're doing all day, right? That's it. Only 10 squats. So just think, is 10 squats a day really going to help me reach my goal, right? Is 10 squats a day really going to help me build muscle or build strength? Chances are is not. You need a lot more stimulus. And honestly, when we design these workouts, we know this, right? We do this with a purpose. We try to train the similar muscle groups with different exercises, so you're not just limiting yourself to one set per muscle group, if that makes sense, right? And even sometimes too, which some of you may have caught on by now, we'll do a no repeat workout and we'll do different variations of those exercises.
Yes, like a front squat or a suitcase squat.
You're still doing a squat. You're just doing a different one. And to some people, it still gives you that no repeat aspect because you're not
like mentally,
but it still gives you the stimulus of doing it for multiple repetitions. So for example, if you're just doing those 10 squats a day versus doing them for sets and reps, which we'll get into, that would be let's say you did 3 sets of 10 versus 10. That's 20 more squats of stimulus than you would get if you were just doing within that follow along workout, right? So that's just the point of, sometimes with follow along workouts, you don't get as much stimulus from each exercise than you would kind of following a program in a sense.
Yeah.
So,
and then nicely putting this next one, and I've been guilty of this too. It's easier to slack during the follow along.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Kind of what we mean by that is like if you're seeing like, okay, I just have to do this for 40 seconds, right? You might just go slow and be like, time's ticking.
I don't like lunges, and then you just do 2 lunges and you're like, all right, what's next? Yep.
Or you might, like let's say we're going at a slow pace. Keep in mind, we shoot like 2 or 3 workouts a day. So you might be able to go faster than us on certain things, and you don't go faster just because we're going at a specific pace. So in reality, you really could be pushing yourself harder, but you're like, nope, I'm gonna follow what they're doing, So this is why at the beginning of the workouts, we always stress, and we're not just saying it to say it, go at a pace that works for you.
Yeah.
Use the weight that works for you. We'll have people sometimes say, you used a different weight. Tell us when to switch. I'm switching because I need to. So you switch when you need to, you know? And so we're not just saying that because it sounds good. Seriously, go at your own pace. So sometimes in the follow along, it can be really easy to just like slack a little bit, you know?
Sure.
So,
that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. Or with that on the slacking modifications, you know,
that's what I was gonna
I
do.
have really done this too, where I'm like, all right, let's just follow the modifications today. I'm not really feeling it. I'm just going to do the easier when I should be doing the more advanced, you know? So it's really easy, to not push yourself
and it's
as
easy
much.
to go through the motions, which is we will say this again, why we don't put calories on our workouts, right? So again, to stress, if we said that you will burn, let's say we posted a 30-minute workout, and if we said, look, you'll burn 500 calories during this workout, you can do it. You can just slack through some of the exercise, and then you're going to give yourself credit for those 500 calories, right?
Did the workout, burned 500.
Which is not the case, and that's misleading in a sense. So we don't. That's another reason why we don't kind of. That's another reason why sometimes follow-on workouts kind of creates a sense of slacking in a sense, you know. So, next, another con of follow-on workouts is you're not able to customize it as much in a sense. So let's say, for example, you're doing or just having modifications readily available for you. So let's say you're doing shoulder presses, for example. The only way that you can modify your reps or whatever within a follow-along workout is to go a little bit heavier in your weight, which a lot of people don't really have. A lot of people, maybe only have a couple sets of weights, which is fine, and to pick up the tempo. And a lot of times, again, like she said, people are, we try to do the workout at a decent pace to where people, if they're following our pace, they can still get in a good workout. But we'd like to encourage people to look, if your weights are super light, if it's not challenging, pick up the pace a little bit. Or if you have heavier weights, right, slow down the pace. But sometimes it's hard to portray that message within a follow along workout because, again, it's guided, right? You're following exactly what we're doing and how we're moving. So it doesn't allow you to really customize it in a way that works specifically for you, or just give you the tools that you need to customize it in a way.
But also to that point too, you can't customize it in a sense of, if it's a no repeat and let's say you did 40 seconds of those squats and you're like, oh, I should have done heavier. If this were a circuit style workout, you would say, okay, next set I'm going up on weight.
Correct.
When
there's no next set.
There's no next set. It's no repeat, right? And so then you might say, oh, next time I'll go up, but you may not remember what weights you did it by the next time you do that workout.
Correct.
So it's harder to customize it to your specific fitness level. But to that point, also going back to don't do what we do just because we're doing it. If you see me using 10s or 15s and you feel like that's easy, go up.
Please.
Because in all reality, 99% of our follow-along workouts, I'm probably using 50% more weight on my own, right? And we've said this before too. We don't have heavier weights to film with, right?
Correct.
But when I go to the gym and work out, if you follow us on Instagram or you're on the app, see we are lifting heavy. So regardless of whether you're following our follow-alongs or any follow-along workout, use what works for you, because you never know the person filming. They might be injured. They might be really fatigued that day, you know? And so it's harder to customize it to yourself if you're not truly, knowing that workout and being like, no, I can squat much heavier, and then even then you might have to pick up 50 different sets of dumbbells for this one follow along workout that's full body. So it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah. And the only time I will say maybe follow our recommendations in the sense of what weight we're using is when we go lightweight.
Take us serious.
Because, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes we do workouts with the intention of using a certain weight, and then we'll be like, we might bite off a little more than we can chew, and we can say, all right, we've even reshot the intro sometimes to say like, oh, like please grab light weights for this. Do not underestimate it. And even sometimes that means, lighter, a lot lighter than what we're using. You know what I mean? So
or
that's
body weight even.
That's the only time I will say, shoot a recommendation in the sense of going, using a certain amount of weight, but if we're doing especially like a strength workout, definitely go up more than what we're using. Again, with the heaviest weights we have is at 25, and we honestly haven't bought more weights just because it's like, at the end of the day, we're demonstrating these workouts.
Right.
We're doing the workouts. We get obviously, we get a good workout when we do them, but we shoot 3 or 4 of these at a time, and it doesn't make sense for me to be using 65-pound weights just to show that I lift heavy, right?
Yeah,
like
it's not gonna be pretty.
I don't have any. Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, I don't. Like I said, we're doing it for demonstration purposes, and to be honest, this is why I tell people all the time is like this is why we call it training, right? Every rep isn't going to be perfect. Like when we obviously we strive for perfection when we work out and when we go to the gym, but every rep isn't going to be perfect. You might have a rep where you're literally trying to muscle this weight up. You got two exercises left. I don't want to be doing this in the middle of a follow along workout, right? I don't want to be trying to pump it out. I want to be able to show things with great form to that way, especially with us not talking you through the workout. We want to be able to show you better than we can, But
I will say there's times where you've probably seen us like stumble or fall or mess up, and that comes
that's natural
with it. And there was one time where someone said like, I saw Juice fall on that single leg deadlift, and they were like, it made me smile because I was like, okay, he's normal too, and it's okay if I mess up on a rep. Absolutely, you know. So definitely, we are doing the full workout. So there's been times people are like, Toya, I saw you put your heels down. I was like, I sure did.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hard thing to do for 40 seconds.
It is.
So.
And then, this is for the form police out there, who are looking for choreography and not
He's talking to you.
Being realistic.
Choreography.
Yeah, because I remember we had somebody comment too saying like, oh, you guys were going at different paces. I wish you guys were going like, this is a workout.
It's my workout. It's his workout. That's choreography.
Yeah, like we're not here to choreograph this. We're just here like we're working out. That's one thing we try to show too is like, even though we're doing the same movements, you'll see us, we're going at 2 different paces sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes she's going a little bit faster than me and vice versa. So that's one thing we try to stress. Like, we don't want things to also feel robotic to where you feel like, oh, it has to be like super stiff and strict. Like with working out, it's called training for a reason, where we're trying to get better at these exercises. You may stumble on a few reps. You may not unintentionally lock out your arms on a shoulder press a few reps. It's okay. That's why we train. That's why we continue
get better
to continue
as you
to
go.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, cool. That's pretty much the cons. And one more thing I don't know if we said this, but with follow along workouts, another con is sometimes you are limited with the amount of equipment that you can use. So for example, there are a lot of different workouts we would love to explore on the channel, like barbell workouts, TRX, stuff like that. Cable machines. But it's hard for everyone to be able to have access to the stuff. And it doesn't make sense for us from a production standpoint to put these workouts together if people don't have access to these things. Yes. So it's hard to it's hard
to film with that. We don't have the access to a lot of that equipment to be able to film. Correct. We have it at our gyms. We can't film a production at the gym, so it's hard to film utilizing all of those different pieces of equipment too.
We had somebody ask us, can you guys do a pull-up workout? And I was like, I don't even know how,
But also, can we just imagine a follow-along pull-up workout? You know what I mean? Like, that would be a 5-minute workout.
and then also, too, that's assuming people have a pull-up bar at their house. So that's the thing. Sometimes it's like we're limited to the amount of variety. And we try to do a good job of giving you variety. Like, we have dumbbells, we have kettlebells, we have resistance bands, medicine ball, sliders, body weight, obviously. Like, we try to incorporate as much as we can as far as equipment that a lot of people have at home. But when you start to get to the nitty gritty, like talking about barbells, pull-up bars, cable machines, it's hard, to add that variation in the sense of a follow-along video. So.
Yep, and like we mentioned earlier, a lot of the reason we do these is the accessibility. Correct. And so imagine like traveling and things like that. Hotel gyms will usually have dumbbells, but they probably won't have a barbell, so... but yeah, so those are some of the pros and cons of follow along workouts. And like I said, maybe you resonated with some of those pros, but now maybe understand some of the cons, or maybe even things that you didn't even realize were cons to a follow along workout. So let's kind of dive a little into circuit style training. So let's talk first about what circuit style training is, because there are still a lot of people that may not understand what that means.
And it's a lot of different, like, you can call it styles or names for it, but we call it circuit style training because that's literally what it is. You're doing
and we even had someone ask in our last live, what's the difference between circuit style training and a superset?
Yeah,
right. So a superset just means 2 exercises. It's still in a circuit of different exercises. So you might see supersets, trisets, quad
stretch.
Stretch.
I said stretch. Quad. My quads are tight right now.
You'll see it all types of different names, but all in all, what we're talking about with circuit style training is sets and reps. There might be groups of exercises, and there might be multiple different groups of different exercises. So that is circuit style training.
So for example, a common superset, let's say a superset, again, is 2 exercises you'll do in a circuit. So let's say we have shoulder presses and bent over rows. You'll start with the shoulder. Let's say we designate 10 reps for shoulder presses. You'll do those 10 reps. Then you'll go to the rows, do those 10 reps, and then you'll go back to the top for however many sets that we designated. So if there's 4 sets, you'll basically do that in rotation for 4 sets, and then move on to the next group of exercises. So that can be, again, within the Level Up program, we have supersets and trisets within it as well. So that in itself gives you, think about it, if you're doing 10 reps of each of those exercises, that's 40 reps of stimulus that you're getting. And if you're doing that 3 times a week, that's 120 reps of stimulus that you're getting every single week, right? So now that you kind of see that compared to doing 10 reps per day, right? That's 30 reps versus 120. You're getting 4 times as much output by just in general doing that circuit than just doing a no repeat follow along video. So,
and getting into who it's for, everyone can benefit from circuit style training. You might see people more specified on a goal. The nice thing about circuit style training programs is you can tailor them to make them whatever you want. You can add in different days. You can be more fine-tuned on the types of exercises you're adding in. But again, just like follow along workouts, there are amazing pros, but there might be some cons depending on your goals.
And
so
as far as I want to say, as far as who it's for also, I think, like she said, it's for everybody. But if you're just getting into fitness in general, you're just getting into working out, we generally recommend the follow along videos because, again, it's guided. You just show up, you follow along.
Get used to just moving.
Just get used to moving and doing certain exercises. But I always, recommend circuit style training for people who have a general sense of how to move their bodies, what a squat is, what a bent over row is, right? You have a general, a good sense of how to do those movements to where you can now transition into circuit style training to where you know what these movements are. And even if you don't, you know how to move your body in the sense of how to progress it in a way over time. So I always recommend circuit style training for people who've been doing follow along workouts for a while, and
or just working out in general.
Or just been working out for a while, and you need just sort of a change of stimulus that I think can be really beneficial for you. So
Cool.
do we go over all the pros of circuit training?
Did we go?
Yeah, we haven't started.
We have not started.
I was like, okay, sorry.
We are a little bit sick today.
Yeah, we're off.
So let's get into the pros of circuit style training.
Let's get into it.
Very first, my favorite thing about circuit style training is, like I mentioned earlier, you can get more fine-tuned to your results. So you can make the workouts more specified to whatever goal you're trying to reach. You can get very specific with the exercises. You can adjust things a lot easier to your fitness goal. So one workout can be adjusted in so many different ways to fine tune it to you specifically. It's a lot harder to do that with the follow along workout because, again, it's based on time. It's hard to change things about it when the time is the time. So having the reps and sets really makes it a lot more adjustable. And again, fine-tuned to your specific goals.
And time frame, like I mentioned with follow along workouts too as well. Like, it's not as specific in a sense of, if you click a follow along workout on YouTube, it's 30 minutes. But the thing is, and we preach this to the people who are doing these programs, our Level Up program. Let's say you're going through a circuit style training workout and, you're not even halfway done and it's taking you 20 minutes and you only have 30 minutes to work out. You can adjust those sets and reps. I mean, I do it within my own workout sometimes when I'm, it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I might cut down the steps or increase the reps, of those sets just to kind of make it time friendly. So you can adjust these workouts in a way that can work for your time, in a way that works for your body in a sense of strength. It's so adjustable to where you can really, again, like you said, fine tune it and really make it work for your body. So another pro is one thing we preached before. If you don't know what this is, progressive overload.
Yes.
Circuit style training allows for you to track your weight and track your progress. So for example, and we mentioned this, one of our most popular podcasts right now already is how to create your own training program. And within that episode, we talked about progressive overload and the benefits of it. So progressive overload basically meaning gradually increasing in some type of resistance or stimulus over time. So this can be in a sense of weight. This can be in a sense of reps, just making something a little bit more difficult over the course of time, right? So for example, let's say, let's say you're doing shoulder presses 4 sets of 10. You can progressively overload within that set. So if you do, let's say you start with 15-pound weights and you did 10 reps, that was easy. You can go up to 20-pound weights and do 10 reps. If you feel like that's good, you can stick with that 20 pounds. And then next week, look at maybe increasing that weight a little bit more, right? Doing those reps and sets gives you an opportunity to feel out the weight, right? You can feel out how heavy it is. Can I get through these 4 sets? And then over the course of time, you can say like, all right, or you can write it down. And one thing we recommend, always write down
your reps weight. And sets and weight,
always
all of it.
Write down where you started, because a lot of times people don't write this down and they continue to do the same weights, which you can't progressively overload if you're doing the same weight. So write down where you started, and then over time, as you start to feel a little bit more comfortable, as your mobility, your strength starts to improve, you can add, always give it a 5-pound rule, add 5 pounds at a time over, and it'll make a big difference, especially over a course of a 6 to 8 week program. So.
And if you follow us on the app, the new feature that was added to track weights is one of my favorite things, because it was so important for us. That's something we preached this whole time, the circuit style training in the app. The one thing we were missing is like the ability to track those weights, because that's what we do. So when that was added, we were so excited. But that was something 6 weeks ago, we got back from our trips and we both sat down, wrote a program for ourselves. And one thing I preached every week was I pretty much repeated the same workouts throughout the 6 weeks, adding little things here and there. And those little changes were based on what I was doing.
Correct.
My hip thrust went up almost 100 pounds over that 6. That's insane, but it makes sense when I look at my progress and my reps and sets and how I change things over time. If I was just doing random workouts every week, how would I know how much to go up? How would I know that I can comfortably adjust my weight this amount of weight? Because he just said a 5-pound rule, and looking at my hip thrust, if I would have only gone up 5 pounds each week, that's only 30 pounds. But because I knew that 185 felt super easy, jump up a little more, So if you're just guessing every week, or you don't remember where you left off, that can be a difference. But also 5 pounds can be a lot. In a barbell shoulder press, adding 5 pounds each side, I couldn't do it. I added 2.5 to each side.
Makes a big difference.
I got it up, So if I'm just guessing each week and I'm off by 5 pounds, that can be a big difference.
And somebody might, you might ask, well, can't you progressive overload with follow along workouts? Yeah, of course. You can go up on weight. But the problem with that is, are you counting your reps, right, within that 40-second or 50-second period? Are you actually like counting and seeing how much you're doing? Because you can go up in weight and do significantly less amount of reps, right? Let's say you have been doing 20-pound dumbbells, for these workouts for a long time, and you obviously you're not counting the reps, but let's say you're on average getting between 10 to 15 reps, and then you go up in weight.
And you do 5.
Yeah, you can only do 5 or 7. Like mentally, you may think like, oh, I've gotten stronger, I can do these heavier weights, but you're not counting your reps to know.
And that changes the workout.
Yeah, that changes
it a lot, So doing 15 reps is a different stimulus on your body than doing 5.
Correct.
So sometimes going up on weight or down in weight in a workout, a follow-along workout, changes it from a strength to a HIIT workout or a HIIT to a strength workout. So it might change the whole type of workout that you're doing too.
Correct. Yep. So that's just a benefit. Progressive overload. That's huge in a sense of, if you're really looking to see some results, see some changes, especially within your strength, you have to make sure that you're increasing some type of stimulus again, whether it's your weight, whether it's your reps, whatever the case may be, or even sets. That's why we also encourage people too. Even if you're doing the follow along workouts, let's say it's a 20-minute no repeat it. Do it again, right? The more stimulus, the better. And that's the reason why we make the workouts the way we do is we try to make them so, as fun and engaging as possible to where it's easy to do them over and over again, right? We don't want to do, this is also why we don't talk through the workouts, because if you hear me saying 2 more, hurry up, you got it,
pick up the weight,
right? If you hear me doing that every time, I'm
muting you.
I'm not saying, and that works for some people need that, but in a sense of, doing the same workouts over and over, which is totally okay. Like she mentioned, she did the same 3 workouts over the course of a 6-week period. Like, that's okay. You want to do those workouts over, but something has to change. That stimulus has to change over time. So that's very important in the sense of making progress, whether you're doing follow along or circuit style training.
And then one more pro of circuit style training is the ability to learn. And there's so much in this. So first, you are learning how your body moves. You're learning different strengths and weaknesses. And that could be on either side. So it could be like, oh, I noticed my left shoulder is a lot weaker than my right shoulder because I could easily do 15, but I can only do 10. You know what I mean? So you're finding different strengths and weaknesses there, but you're also learning the movements and where you should be feeling them. And again, bringing back to the app, there are exercise clips that are like 3 to 5 seconds long. You watch the clip, you see how to do it. You may never have to watch that clip again because now you understand, I know how to do a deadlift. I know when I see deadlift, I should be feeling it here. I should be, my form should look like this. So it teaches you how to feel those movements in your own body versus kind of going back to follow along where we said you could slack off, where you're just kind of like going through the motions, So
it's helpful to know like what muscle groups you're working when doing a certain action. That's why we try our best to put those little figures on the videos to show at least remotely where you should be feeling it, right? But with circuit style training, again, the more, like she said, the more stimulus you have, like let's say you do a set of squats, you might not even feel, of course, you're working your legs, but you might not even feel your quads until that 3rd set, right? To where now that you're doing squats more and more, like, especially if you're new to working out, like, all right, squats works this muscle.
Yes, I feel this.
And my glutes, right? You can feel it and kind of, calculate things for yourself and understand like, wow, okay, I know what I'm working here. And then ultimately down the road, a lot of people learn so much about their body to the point where that's when they start to make those, have specific goals that we're like, all right, like I want to grow my biceps a little bit more. I know that these exercises that I've done in the past work my biceps, so I can add these to my workouts and kind of customize it that way too as well. So that's one thing we try to stress on the Juice and Toya app is for people who are looking to make that transition to everything that we have provided on the app is like, we're here to teach you. We want you to learn. We don't want you to go through the motions. We want you to know what muscles you're working, know, how much increasing, bless you. We want you to know how adding a lot more stimulus to certain exercises can benefit you over the long run, right? We want you to really, like she said, learn more about your body and learn more about these exercises. And that way, when you go back and do the follow along videos, you know exactly what muscle groups they're working. And you might even can kind of catch on to how we structure things too as well. We try to structure
and why we put them in certain orders.
We try to structure these programs for you in a way that you can learn to create a program for yourself. So you can say, look, Juice and Toya, they split this up, 2 full body days, 2 split days. I think I like that split. I think I want to follow that, maybe add a little bit here, take out a little bit here, and then really create a program that works specifically to what you want to achieve, right? That's the culture, I guess I want to say, that we're trying to create on the app. Obviously, we have those follow along videos available, especially the exclusive ones, but also for the people who are really, diving deep into circuit style training, they understand the benefits, and they really, and there's a lot of people on the app right now to this day that said they were nervous about doing circuit style training. It was harder to get into at first, but they haven't looked back since, right? They understand the importance of it, and they've seen their bodies change compared to follow along. Again, I'm not trying to diminish follow along videos, but
there's a reason majority our programs are more circuit style training.
Correct.
So just like you said, there's not one better than the other. However, let's kind of get into a little bit of cons of circuit style training.
There are some cons.
So the very first one is probably the most obvious and kind of like he just said too, the hesitancy of people is the motivation. And I think especially when you go from doing our follow along workouts, excuse me, when you come from doing our follow along workouts, they're fun. They're mostly upbeat. You've got the music, you've got, people. And then you go from, you just want me to read this and do it. And you're like, it's a transition, right? And so it can be unmotivating. So this is why we kind of wanted to stress the pros of it. So you have that in your mind when you're like, okay, I need to be doing this. It's important. It's, like you understand the benefits, and that kind of outweighs the lack of motivation, because there are days I don't want to be in the gym doing my circuit style training where I'm like, all right, I got 5 sets of hip thrusts today, and I am counting down those sets, right? But then when I PR or I'm going, it's exciting. I'm like, I'm not joking. I run and find him in the gym, and I'm like, guess what I just did? You
PR'd, didn't you?
It's exciting, and so you find little things that make it more motivating.
Correct.
Playlists. For me, working out is a time to listen. I find new music, Drake's new album. Like I was like, I don't really listen to music other than when we're working out. And so for me, it's also time. I'm like, let me listen to that new album. I have a playlist that I created that I turn on when I need motivation. Correct. It has my favorite workout songs. Correct. So it can be not as motivating, but you find little things that keep you going during the workout.
Oh, yeah. Also with that, another con of circuit style training is it requires more discipline. And we say this to say, like with follow along workouts, again, you got that structure. We're pretty much guiding you through the entire workout, and especially, and the reason we say discipline, especially the rest periods, right? When we say 40-20, it's 40-20, 40 on, 20 off. When you're doing circuit style training, that's where, it can kind of get a little shifty. So, for example, I know people who've been to the gym, you've seen this guy hog the bench press, right? He does a heavy set of 5, and he's sitting there for 10 minutes until he does his next set, right? In a sense
scroll.
Yeah. So, when we create these videos and these programs, we give a recommended amount of rest that you should be taking in between. You might United we stand. You might need a little bit more rest than what we recommended, especially if you're going heavier, or you might need less rest, right? It requires discipline to be able to say, like, all right, I need to get to this next set. I can't procrastinate through this workout, or I need to do this workout with good form, right? I can't half do this workout. I can't slack through this workout. I need to make sure that I'm getting the most out of this, out of each and every exercise. So it requires a little bit more discipline in the sense of doing everything the right way, following the workouts the way they're supposed to be done. And we've had people ask us like, oh, I don't like lunges. Can I just skip those, or can I? And it.
You can do it if you want.
Yes, you can. you can skip exercises, but when you have someone creating a program for you, it's not just throwing.
It's usually a reason.
There's a reason why we're grouping certain exercises together, or putting, creating certain supersets for the workout. Right, we're doing it for a reason. So the moment you take something out, or slack through it, you're kind of diminishing the purpose of what we're trying to create within the program. So, yes, it does require a little bit more discipline, but at the end of the day, working out in general does. And for most people, you should be able to create that and create that sense of discipline through working out in general. So,
and I want to piggyback discipline on this next con, and that is rest periods. So kind of like he said earlier, sometimes you only have 30 minutes, right? And you just need to get in something quick. If you're trying to do a strength workout and you skip all of your rest periods, you are now doing a HIIT workout, right? And so I saw someone the other day comment about, they were asking about rest periods on circuit style training, and someone commented back and said, I just skipped the rest breaks and breezed through it. So on a strength workout, that is very valid. You might think like, let me just knock this out and get it done, right?
Yeah.
On a strength workout, if you are breezing through it, it's too easy.
Yeah.
You're not getting the stimulus of strength, right? You're doing a HIIT workout.
Pretty much.
And so a lot of times what happens is it happens because of a time crunch. And now you have to really think about, if I'm truly trying to get in strength, it might be more beneficial for you to maintain those rest periods and cut exercises and focus on heavier sets and maybe adding in a couple sets of like going heavier versus doing more exercises at a faster pace.
Correct.
Right. And so I had to learn this when he is like, you're trying to grow your glutes, but all you're doing is HIIT. You're not doing heavy. And so I'm going to be honest, I don't think I hip thrusted more than like 140, 150 because I was always like, go.
Reps.
I think I just finished like 250. You know what I mean? And I was taking 2 to 3 minutes between sets, and I wasn't supersetting it with anything. I was focusing solely on the hip thrust. Did that take me longer? Yes. Did I have to cut out an exercise from the superset? Yes. But my glutes got a heck of a lot stronger, and I was able to translate that into other workouts where maybe I had time to add in more things, more exercises. I was stronger at those exercises. So sometimes that discipline requires you to restructure your workout in a way that works for your goals versus going really fast and just trying to get the workout done. So those rest periods, like you said, we give recommendations, but the recommendations are for a reason. They matter. Sometimes you have to go a little bit more. Sometimes it might be a little less. And that also goes with don't take a 5-minute rest break because you're on Instagram. Don't take a 5-minute rest break to scroll. Right. So that discipline goes along with the rest break. Of understanding how much rest you should or shouldn't be taking too.
And again, that goes along with following the structure of the things that we're trying to create. So like she said, if you're breezing through a workout and skipping past all the breaks, that means either the weight is too light, just the workout's too easy. In most cases, the weight is too light. And like she said, I want to clarify this too. If you're minimizing your rest and you're breezing through it, like you said, it's a HIIT workout, right? There's a reason why when we do HIIT workouts, at max, we're taking 15 seconds rest, right? The whole goal of a HIIT workout is to keep the heart rate elevated, right? To keep the body moving.
High intensity.
With the strength workout, right, you're going heavier, right? So if you're going super heavy, with certain exercises and you're minimizing your rests are too small, right? You might be it's going to be sloppy, right? Because you're not giving yourself enough time for that amount of weight that you're using, right?
And you're not giving yourself the chance to go heavier because you really could be going a lot heavier if you took proper rest.
You might be able to go 5 pounds a little bit more on that next set if you would have took a little bit more rest, right? So, try to, in a sense of discipline, don't let discipline take away from how or what the workout was created for. You know what I mean? So, cool. Good tip.
Yeah. And then one more con, our last con of circuit style training. It might be a little less accessible than follow along workouts simply because in a circuit style training, you might utilize other pieces of equipment within those circuits. However, this doesn't mean you can't do circuit style training with dumbbell. All of our programs on the app that are circuit style training don't require more than dumbbells. So that's kind of like a baby con because most of our programs that we follow ourselves, we include gym equipment. So then when we travel, it's hard to do that program because we don't have access to that equipment, but that can be rearranged. You can change those exercises. So.
For sure. So that's pretty much general guide on the differences between follow along workouts versus circuit style training. You may listen to this podcast today and like she said, you may resonate with more with follow along videos. It may be more beneficial for you in a sense of structure, in a sense of time, in a sense of motivation. And honestly, again, we'll stress this again, whatever is going to keep you consistent, that's going to be effective for you. We don't want to say like,
You have to do
you
this.
have to do this, like circuit style training. You're wasting your time doing follow-alongs are great. Like we do them, especially on the days where we need that motivation, or days like today where we're not feeling,
not going to the gym,
not going to the gym, but maybe I can do like a body weight strength workout to get, or a recovery workout to get my body moving, right? So, that could be beneficial for you. But again, on the other flip side, I want to stress that if you are somebody that has specific goals, right? Let's say you've been doing our follow along workouts for, the last year and a half. You've seen great results. You've lost 35, 40 pounds. We get these messages all the time. And congratulations. Let's give a round of applause for all the people who have shared their testimonies with us. But let's say you lost 40 pounds over the course of the last year. And now you're starting to see some things slow down a little bit. Your progress isn't as you're not making the consistent progress that you were making before, or you're hitting a plateau. This is where I think it's the perfect opportunity to give your body that stimulus of following some style of circuit style training, right? And this is one thing I want to stress too. You can do both. Don't think it's a one or the other type thing. Like when we create these programs, the Level Up program, we literally made the first 3 days circuit style, and then the last and final day to complete for the week is a follow along video. And we do that for a number of reasons. We know people are transitioning a little bit from solely doing follow along to this program. So we still want to give you that all the benefits,
motivation,
that motivation,
fun.
all the benefits of a follow along video. And we literally made it day 4 because we know personally, for most people, as we get later in the week, those workouts get harder and harder to show up to. So it feels good to know that, all right, I can show up later in the week. It's already structured for me, and it can make it, you can work that way. So we want to stress it. If you're someone that's, looking to transition, maybe do 2 days of circuit style training and then 2 days of follow along, right? Give yourself the opportunity to see how those circuit style trainings can benefit you over the course of time. And then you can sort of, again, make that program work for you. Maybe you can switch to 3 days of circuit style and 1 day of follow along, right? Or again, you can do the complete opposite. Maybe you want to just kind of, dip your foot in the water a little bit, do 1 day of circuit training, and then the rest of the days do follow along to keep you motivated and keep you consistent, right? Yep. But again, if you're looking to fine tune some results, let's say, again, I was getting to that point, you lost 30 pounds, but you want to shred up a little bit more in the midsection, or you want to add some muscle mass to your biceps or shoulders, right? That's where circuit style training can kind of help you fine tune those results a little bit more.
Yes. I mean? And it was important for us to do this podcast because 90, if not 97% of our workouts personally and the way we train our clients is circuit style training. Yeah. And so that's what we know to produce great results. That's what we know it can work. However, like he said, the follow along can also work and be great too, if that's what you're looking for. But we never wanted to come off as all we do is our follow along workouts, because that is not the case. And there's also a reason why we put out 1 or so follow along workouts a week. Yeah. That's all we do sometimes, And so we follow a program, we follow circuit style training. And I had someone comment on my Instagram last week that said, "What follow along workouts did you do for your arms?" None. I responded that was a result of circuit style training. Yep. I just said I went up on my shoulder press. I PR'd on shoulder press. I do circuit style training, and I never want it to come off as misleading of, to look like this or to have arms like this or legs, whatever. You only are doing follow along workouts because that's what I film. It's not the case, So we also want to present what we do, being fully transparent. Yeah. And that's why we said too at the beginning, I don't just use 10 or 15 pounds for squats. I'm squatting 135. I'm like when we're going heavier. So we want you to know that all of these things are options, are available, so that you're never misled, and you understand the differences between them all. Yeah,
just to clarify, we'll close this by just kind of speaking on, and she kind of mentioned it too, how we personally train, right? So, like she said, 90% of our workouts are circuit style training. And these are also, we stressed this before too, these are all, in most cases, based on a program that we written for ourselves. So, one of the biggest benefits or the biggest benefit you can in the sense of getting better results over time is being able to follow some type of program, right? That can be a program that we've created or a trainer you've worked with in the past. Program gives you structure. It gives you a sense of what you're doing on each day. And also it allows you to have the opportunity to focus on that progressive overload like we mentioned before, right? If you know exactly what you're doing on a given week, it's okay to follow the same 4 workouts that you're doing, just as long as you're adding some type of variation to it, you're adding weight to it or reps or some type of continuous stimulus to it, that program is going to be very beneficial for you. So highly recommend following some sort of program, whether you're doing follow
Shout
along.
out episode 3 of our podcast.
Episode 3, how to write your own training program. Go check that episode. We give you a full rundown of how to create a program specifically for you, right? That's what I want to stress in this. Like, you want to be able to create a routine based off everything that you want to achieve goal wise, but also factoring in, your limitations, your strength and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
So, follow a program. That's all I was trying to say.
Follow a program. Yes. Follow a program. Follow a program. Regardless of which style of training you're doing, I will always recommend to follow a program.
Yes.
Don't just guess. So
for sure.
That is some of the pros and cons of circuit style training versus follow along training.
Yeah.
There's obviously way more detail we can go into, but hopefully this gives you a good overview of it. And before we close this out, I want to do a giveaway.
Oh.
And I'm just going to say we hope to put this out tomorrow, but 1 week from the post date on our YouTube channel, I want you all to comment something that you learned within this.
Yeah.
And we want to give away 1 month on our Juice and Toya app.
Let's get it.
And if you're already on the app, you can also win this and gift it to someone.
Yeah.
But comment something that you learned within this, whether it's I didn't know this con or I didn't know this pro or I learned something about circuit style training I didn't know, just something that you learned. Comment it in the comment section of the YouTube video of this. And bonus points if you want to share it and tag us and let us know what you learned on Instagram or on Facebook also. And we want to give away a free month. And I want to do this because I want people who maybe are intimidated to try circuit style training to be able to try it. All of you get a week free on the app. So anyone can try it a week free. And like he said, try it. And if you don't like it, 1, you can cancel anytime on the app. 2, then you just keep doing what you're doing, right? There is zero harm.
Everybody.
It is not for everyone. And if you try it and you're like, I don't want to do it today, I'm skipping my workout because I don't want to do it, then now that's worse, right? We'd rather you just go get in a follow along
or
workout.
It may not be, you may not be ready for it right now.
Yeah, you may need that guidance and that motivation of a follow along.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so we'll 1 week from the post date, we'll choose a winner and a free month on the app. So comment one thing that you learned, and then you can also tag us, share the episode and tag us on Instagram or Facebook, and that'll get you an extra little entry. I just want everyone to learn or have the opportunity to learn as well.
For sure. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. But before we go, I promised y'all last week I got a dad joke. We're going to end, if you don't know, we're going to end each episode, well, maybe not every episode, but I'm going to try to have a different dad joke because we're going to end with good vibes. We're not feeling good, so we need to laugh. Do you have one today, or is it just me?
I can come up with one.
No, don't do that. Okay. I got one. Actually, I got 2.
Okay.
Should I say? No, I'm going to say both. One is kind of easy and the other one you might not get. All right, here we go. Dad joke number 1. Why did the Uber driver stop going to the gym?
Oh, I know this. I don't know it, but I know it has to do something to do with lift because that's their competitor and you lift at the gym.
Yeah. What
was the question?
Why did the Uber driver stop going to the gym?
He didn't want to lift.
Yeah, pretty much. He don't even lift, bro. All right, so the next...
that might be the first time I got one.
Yeah, I told you it was pretty. It's like a layup, it kind of gives it away. Because as soon as you hear Uber, you're like, oh,
lift. Yeah. Okay.
All right, the next one I got. Why did the goat stop lifting heavy?
The goat, like
goat?
Bah?
No, not Bah. The ghost, Casper.
The ghost.
Why did Casper stop lifting heavy at the gym?
He got a boo-boo.
That's a good one, but no. That's a good answer. He got a boo-boo.
He got a boo-boo.
Why did Casper stop lifting at the gym? Or heavy at the gym?
Why did he stop lifting heavy at the gym?
Yeah. Oh, I'm itching.
He didn't... Why did he stop lifting heavy? Okay.
Yeah. You got
the
5
weight
seconds.
of the... He didn't have... I don't know.
Because nobody could spot him. It's so good.
I don't feel good.
Nobody could spot him. Where is he at? But also, he lifted too heavy.
That was too hard for brain fog.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I was going to say something like the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he didn't have shoulders.
You're thinking too deep.
Woo! All right.
So I hope you enjoyed that dad joke. But yeah, man, hope you enjoyed this video. You learned a lot from the podcast today. Again, follow along workouts are great. Circuit style is great.
Movement is great. We want y'all to move your body
and stay consistent with your movement. Doesn't matter how you do it. We're just giving you why we create the videos the way we create, what they're beneficial, who they're beneficial for, and then on the flip side of it, how we personally train, which is circuit style training, the benefits of that as well, and how again it can really work in your favor in the sense of seeing consistent results over time. So if you got to listen to this again to really fine tune what works for you, do so. But again, we appreciate you for joining us for this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, please. We are almost at 5,000 subscribers on the Juice and Toya podcast channel. We may even post this. This is a very important topic to us, so we may even post this on our main page just to give our current subscribers on that page this information as well. We really think it'll be beneficial for everybody.
And for the giveaway, we'll do a giveaway for both. So you can comment on both if you'd like to.
Correct. So subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to give us 5 stars. Leave a review on wherever you listen to your podcast. It really helps us out. Really helps us expand this podcast and continue to drop your suggestions for us. This is one we kind of created on our own, but we have a lot of other topics that we're looking forward to get to as well.
Amen.
And then also look forward to more consistent episodes. I know we've been kind of spotty over the course of the last couple of months.
We've been working on this Level Up 2.0, but it's out and it's done and we're back. So thank you all seriously for joining us, for supporting our podcast. And that's all we got for you today.
Oh yeah. So appreciate you, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Bye.